Good morning, everybody. We're here at the Lake Mary Museum because this is the place that we were telling you guys about that has the vintage Halloween costumes. They have costumes from the 20s, 30s, and 40s, and it just sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go inside and check it out, and then maybe afterwards we'll go and like have a look at modern costumes.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see like how different costumes have evolved. Like, you know, generic clown costumes or generic witch costumes. You know, what did they used to look like versus what do they look like now?
Yeah.
So, I don't know, we just thought this would be a cool thing to check out.
Let's have a look. Here's the little banner they have out front. Should be pretty interesting. Just looking at the picture on this sign, these costumes look real different. So as we first walk in, just kind of a quick overview of everything that's in here. It's a very, very small museum, but they said that they have costumes from the 20s and 30s, and then some other things that are here to kind of creep you out.
Okay, I'm really excited. I was very excited about the costumes, but now I'm really excited about some of the other things over here.
Yeah.
There's some creepy stuff in here, you guys.
Well, let's get into it over there, first of all.
Oh wait, this.
Oh, that is scary. So, what they told us is that up here on the stage is some mourning items. So, these are things that were used to, oh my goodness, a saw that's used to remove fingers and toes.
Whoa.
Oh, it's used for boring holes into the skull. Whoa.
Are these real?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa.
This is so strange because it has a handle almost like a gun.
Oh yeah, the bone saw?
Yeah. Doesn't it kind of look like one of those old like Smith & Wesson handles?
Yeah. I wanted to show you guys a few things. This vial here, it's called a tear catcher. You would cry into it, and then when your tears had evaporated, the mourning period was supposed to be over.
Oh.
And these are brooches and bracelets woven from human hair taken off the corpses. That is intense. And they also told us that these are like
This was their mourning parlor, the Victoria Mourning Parlor exhibit.
and they said that this is a real wicker casket that they would use to display a body during a funeral. So this was known as a removal basket, and it was used to display the body during the wake.
So this one is 140 years old. I didn't think that wicker lasted that long.
I don't know, I think as long as you take pretty good care of it, which it seems like they've done here. It's amazing. There's a little quote here from Edgar Allan Poe. It says, "The great fear of the Victorian age was to be buried alive." And so
I'm sure you guys have already heard the story, but you know, when people say that you're saved by the bell, in older grave sites, they would have a string tied to the finger of the body, and then the string would go up above ground to a bell. So if they woke up, the bell would ring, and the groundskeeper or the guy who ran the graveyard, he would like listen for the bells. And if you rang the bell, you would be saved by the bell. You wouldn't be buried alive. Scary stuff.
this is a mourning dress, which is really interesting, but also there's a hat here that they would wear to the mourning or to the wake. Wow, this is pretty darn cool.
So I was just reading this sign, which is under the basket coffin, and basically it's saying that in order to make the parents feel better of the children that died at an early age, because 50% of children live to be to the age of 10, which is not a great statistic, but the friends would comfort the parents by saying, "'Tis virtue makes an early grave," which reminded me of that Billy Joel song, "Only the Good Die Young."
Whoa, yeah.
Isn't that kind of like,
yeah.
I don't know, I just thought that was interesting.
This is probably the thing that I'm most nervous to be videotaping. Yeah. I'm like, I have the shivers right now.
My throat is like in a ball, like I'm scared.
This is a haunted doll. Like it moves and whispers things in the night.
Don't you feel funny standing here?
I do. I have like...
I feel different, like my body is like not responding well to this.
I have the shivers.
I don't have the shivers, I have like the like...
This is scary, why?
Oh, did you see this?
Yeah, this is a real vampire bat, which is interesting because there's a lot of misconceptions about vampire bats, that they would bite you and like drain your body of blood, but really they would just... Like if a cow or something had a little nick on its body, it would go over and drink the blood off the cow. And so now we get into some of the costumes from the 1920s. This is actually pretty neat. This is a gypsy costume from the 1920s. Wow.
And you're obviously not allowed to touch these because they're very frail and very delicate, but they look like they're really well made.
Mm-hmm. Whoa, look. Here's a pirate costume. This is actually like, I feel like pirate costumes have changed quite a bit over the years. If clowns these days dressed like this, I feel like I would be scared out of my mind.
I'm scared by the way they dress now, but I'd be doubly scared by this.
Oh my goodness gracious.
This is really neat though, because these are real homemade costumes.
Yeah.
Like there was no Party City, there was no Spirit
Right?
Halloween store.
I think
they were very creative.
I think this one's interesting too, because this is a whole family, like father, mother, and then the 2 kids dressed up as clowns for Halloween. Whoa.
I like this one.
Oh yeah.
It reminds me of American Horror Story Freak Show.
Oh yeah. So they said that the person that built this museum, his name is Frank Evans. These are all from his family's costume collection. So you can see these are George and Martha Washington costumes. And then here is a picture of the family right there from 1917. Oh, they're wearing the clown costumes. Whoa.
Why does he look like Dewey?
Oh my goodness. A 1930s devil costume. Whoa.
I can't get over the guy that did the woodwork. Yeah, the woodwork is so good.
Those other ones over there are just, I mean, that's beautiful too, but really.
They have a nice collection of
Yes.
This is, I think, a Girl Scouts costume. Like you can see them here. Oh my goodness gracious. This may have just been like a Girl Scouts Halloween party, because this is, it says here, the Lake Mary Girl Scout house. And you can see these girls are wearing this. This is one of the clown costumes. This is amazing. I think I like that all of these have like, or some of these have photos that go along with them, so you can see how the dress was worn in the late 1930s to 1980s. There was a Collegeville costume. I don't know. It doesn't give an exact date from when this one was. It says it was iconic from the 50s to 70s. One of the other things they have is, well, they put the scorpion and the spider, but a back scratcher made from a turkey leg. How to read the signs on your hand, like the lines on your hand, and then a Ouija board.
Oh no, scary, I don't like that.
Dear. While we were inside, the curator of the museum named Jerry told us about a ghost story of a ghost horse that roams the grounds around here, and he told us that the horse's gravestone is over here by City Hall, so we're gonna go check and see if we can see its gravestone.
It's very interesting though that there is a horse even buried at City Hall.
Right?
Like that's kind of an interesting location.
So this is the City Hall building, and if you're coming up to the front entrance, the gravesite is just kind of right there off to the left.
But the front entrance is actually the back of this building. So we thought that the front entrance was the front of the building, which is why we couldn't find the gravesite earlier. So the back is the front and the front is the back.
Yeah, and the way that you can tell is there's a flagpole here. That's the biggest landmark for being able to figure out where the front is. So there it is. There is the grave marker of Tonka the horse. And Tonka the horse was owned by Harriet Mixon, who was the person who sold this land to the City Hall. And
So she had a couple of stipulations to sell the land to build this building. She said, you have to move my house, which they did. She bought a plot of land and she had a little cinder block house, and they moved her house to that plot of land. But then she also said you have to trap all of the animals on the property and release them onto my new land, because those were like her animal friends, I guess. I don't know. And then she also said that her horse, Tonka, who has a really fun story, but that he would have to be buried here because this is where he lived. This is where he was penned, I guess.
so the thing that makes Tonka really interesting is that he had a reputation around the town here, and he would let himself out of his pen and kind of like go roaming from door to door looking for apples and carrots from the local people here. And then he also had a reputation of going to the local bar, which if you look just over here, this building that has the orange and blue and the dolphin symbol on it, that's the local bar. And so he would walk around and walk up to the bar.
They would leave the door open so he could walk into the bar.
Yeah, and he would walk in and they'd have a bucket of beer for him.
So every night he would end his day with, he'd walk around the neighborhood, get apples and food from all the neighbors, go to the bar, have a bucket of beer, and then go back to his pen, and then do it all again the next day.
Yeah, so he was like a real famous horse. That's why he It's so interesting to see his gravesite there.
But also another thing that they said too is that after they buried him, after he passed away and they buried him there in that spot, the locals would hear like galloping footsteps for like a few months after his passing. And so the pub over there that he would get the bucket of beer from, they started to leave the door open and leave a bucket of beer outside for him after his passing.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so I think that that's kind of like a neat little story. I don't know, it was kind of cool to see that they did bury Tonka there.
Yeah. We're at the mall looking for...
There's somebody like, hi, this is Dan Bell and this is the Dead Mall series. for real.
But we're looking for the costumes shop. And this, like, haunted train came by. And he's got, like, ghost Mickeys all over it.
Ooh.
And Jack Skellington. And Zero. Look, it's just Zero.
Pretty
and
cool.
Then scary pumpkin on the front. Look at the eyes. We have found the Spirit Halloween store. Ooh, and it looks so creepy.
It's like a haunted house. Oh wait,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go in.
All right, little tiny haunted house. Are you doing? Ooh, there's spiders all over you. Whoa, it's like a suspended thing.
What happens?
Oh, you have to like stand. Oh, ah! Whoa. That was frightening.
That's awesome.
Hey, Jen.
Yeah.
I'm Pickled costume guy. Also, I like all this Stranger Things things.
Oh.
I like that shirt. That's a pretty awesome shirt.
This is so cool.
Yeah. Oh, what the heck? I feel like how costumes have changed. Like just walking in,
Oh my gosh.
you can dress up as Barb.
Costume.
That's pretty amazing.
She's really the true star of the show. They
Right?
got rid of her too soon.
Well, we don't know that she's completely gone.
No, she is.
Oh.
They confirmed it because she's on
But I was talking like as soon as we walked in, costumes have changed immensely.
Yeah. So
Like-
we should see if we can't find maybe a witch costume or
Like a devil
clown
costume?
or a devil costume, so we can show you guys how they have evolved over time.
Yeah. I like how they have Mickey and Minnie things here though. Like I could dress up like Mickey, sort of. Well, this is interesting. You can be the Sanderson Sisters. Only 2 of them though. I guess the third one was there and since been gone, taken away.
Over here, this one?
No, this is this one.
Oh.
Oh, I don't know where she is.
Maybe she's just the cape.
Oh, maybe. I like how the Rick costume is just like a wig, but the Morty costume's like a full-out face mask, so you look like a cartoon. So we found some devil stuff, which is very much different from the devil costume that we saw in the museum.
Let's see if we can't find one closer to the one we found.
Yeah, I think this scary tree is very scary, but also I really want a haunted vacuum.
Oh wait, do you put this on a tree?
I think so.
And then it's like your tree has got the space on it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, this is that scary bear. Does it work? Oh, the batteries are dead. Dang.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah, try it. Oh. So I thought that the clown costume at the museum was scary. Ooh, that one's real scary.
Well, what I don't understand is what happened to the happy clowns for Halloween? Like, where are they?
We also found a pirate at the museum, and here's one of a modern day pirate. Looks kind of like Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it is. It's Captain Jack Sparrow.
Look at that.
Who's Jeff the Killer?
I think, is this not a creepypasta?
I don't know.
Are we making costumes out of creepypastas now?
Jeff the Killer is frightening though.
There's probably a Slenderman costume too.
So I think the one thing that I'm noticing for the most part about costumes nowadays is that they're more intellectual properties. So like Cat in the Hat, Rick and Morty,
It's pretty interesting.
Mario Brothers.
I wonder why, because you have to pay them royalties when
Right?
you use their likeness or whatever. So why isn't there just like a generic clown or like a generic devil guy?
Still looking for the generic things, but I did find the scariest Gru mask ever. Look at this thing. That is frightening.
Oh my gosh!
I'm gonna put it. No, I'm gonna put it
Are
on.
you?
Yeah.
What?
Poking me in the elbow.
Oh no!
Gru here. We are going to do something very nefarious.
You do a good Gru.
It's poking me in the eyeball.
Oh no! I love it. Leave it on forever. Just kidding.
I just made a smile underneath it like you could see it.
I did find some like generic pirate costumes, but they're very like time period correct, as opposed to the one at the museum. It was just like a happy fun pirate. These are like, we're gonna like plunder and pillage. So we didn't find any generic devils, but we did find like the Pope and a rabbi and Jesus. I feel like you would never see that in a museum from the 1920s or 40s. Oh my goodness. They have Legends of the Hidden Temple costumes and Double Dare costumes. Look at how much fun that is.
I can't believe that.
And also a SpongeBob spatula.
That's awesome.
They didn't find like a full-out witch costume, but the hats haven't really changed over the years. Oh look.
They do sell the capes as well, like the witch kind of robe looking thing here.
Also, check this out. This is very similar to the pirate hat that we saw in the museum.
Oh,
Yeah. I think you have to like tie it on or something. It's weird.
I'm a pirate, I can do whatever I want.
It's so giant. This guy scared the bejesus out of me. Oh, but check this thing out. Oh no, it says let me out. Look, they're like, it's writing it.
Ooh. Here's something that I'm always afraid of, but I don't know if it's like a thing that could happen, but what if this guy just became like aware one day?
I don't think that could happen, but
But what if it did?
that would be frightening.
Yeah.
Good news is he's being electrocuted.
You ready?
Yeah. Oh, oh no.
Oh no. This one's becoming aware right now.
Oh. Whoa. Uh-oh. You know what he wants though? He's just sad because nobody was tickling his little feetsies.
Oh no. I'm kind of afraid of this one.
Oh, do it. Uh-oh. Whoa, good golly.
Oh my god.
That really scared you, didn't it?
Yeah.
It scared me too. All right, I'm gonna do this one. So is she gonna like levitate? Oh.
Oh.
Ooh. Whoa. That's cool.
Wow.
Whoa.
Pretty intense.
You too could have a levitating corpse in your house. The Cadaver Tavern. Welcome to the Cadaver Tavern. So there you have it. That was a little comparison between Halloween costumes of the 1920s and 30s and Halloween costumes of now.
I think that there were lots of differences
There was
between
a lot of differences.
Yeah, between the vintage costumes and between the modern costumes. But all in all, the idea has stayed the same.
Yeah.
Is just to, you know, have a spooky outfit to wear while you get your candy.
Spooky?
Spooky outfit to wear while you get your candy on Halloween. But I do think that it was really neat to be able to see those older costumes.
Yeah.
And like, we obviously you can't touch them, but we were close enough to take a really hard look at them. And it was just neat to see the way that they were constructed and the fabric and I don't know, I thought it was very cool. So if you guys are in the area, try to check out that museum.
Yeah, we'll put a link to their website down in the description down below.
Yeah.
They're closed on Mondays and Sundays, so
Well, just make sure you read like the hours
Yeah.
of operation before you make a trip all the way down there or up there or wherever. But Jerry, the guy who was running it, was great. He had a lot of really cool information, and we definitely recommend talking to him if you do see him while you guys are there, because I am sure that he'll give you some information that you did not know before, like he did with us.
yeah, and also he told us that there is a horror storytelling troupe coming called Phantasmagoria
Oh yeah.
that is going to read out ghost stories from that area.
They're gonna retell some of the ghost stories that he actually told us, a couple of them, that that building is haunted.
Yeah.
So he gave us a few little spooky tales from the building.
And so they're gonna like reenact them throughout the, not reenact it, but like it's like a roaming art installment almost, where
Yeah.
people are like walking around and like telling ghost stories in small groups. It sounds really neat.
Yeah, so I definitely recommend that you guys come and check it out if you can. If not this year, maybe next year. He did say they were gonna have like a Christmas overlay to the museum as well, so yeah.
Yeah. So with that being said, we are off and we will see you guys tomorrow. And now it's time to pay the price.